Hey folks, AJ the CEO here, and in this video we're going to be talking through some 2021 suggestions for your live streaming build that I'm actually doing about 7 of these and the changes that I've had to make because of some limited supply in some of the parts I normally would use. So let's go. Hey folks, AJ the CEO here. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, thanks for stopping by. And on this channel, we focus on tips, training, strategies, reviews, and builds to help modernize your media ministry. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And if you like what we're doing here, consider becoming a patron or a YouTube member by clicking one of the links down below. So I'm fresh off a vacation and had some inspiration that we'll be talking about that later that's coming down the pipe. But I had a ton of churches contact me to rebuild or get a more powerful system to handle their live stream. And we've been talking about that for a while. We offer some great systems using the Ryzen 3 3200G that I've sold to other people, built for other people, and then other people in the Facebook group have used the same list and they've successfully built that system for their live stream, and it has greatly enhanced what they were doing from a performance standpoint. But unfortunately, because of everything that's still going on, parts are getting really, really limited, or a lot of people have bought them up and are taking the prices to the heavens to be with a couple of archangels. That's how high these prices are. And I want to give you suggestions and tell you exactly what I use now to get around these prices. I try to stay within the range of what I normally would do with a system. But in full transparency, I always show y'all what I do. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me get my green screen and all this other good stuff. And we're going to cut over and walk through how we actually do that. Of course, there are going to be timestamps. There's going to be a link down below to all the parts, all this other stuff. And if you want me to build one for you, there's the contact information here. You can hit me up at questions@ajhomes.com and we can see what we can do to help you out. But let's go ahead and cut over to the computer. All right, so we're over here in Newegg, and yeah. I like my base. I kind of stick to a certain group of stuff, mainly because it's been tried and tested, not just by me, by other folks as well too. So let's start with our base. I'm not going to an Intel processor, to be quite honest, because you just get more bang for your buck still with the AMD Ryzen line. But let's go ahead and build out the base. I personally am in love with these Cougar MG120 cases. Very good, nice space. Again, we're not making this to be a super huge system because you don't need that much space. You're only going to have, now you're going to have 2 cards in there. So some people may have an issue with the space. Me personally, I think it's more than enough space in here for what we're going to use it for. All right, so we got that. And from a power supply, you really don't need more than 450 watts, but I will go with a 500 watt power supply. You don't need to do modular. That just saves you some extra cash from there. Of course, we want our stuff to be new. And for me, I'm just going to go with specific sellers and locations, hopefully to get the best price. All right, so this Corsair, 80 plus certified, is around $49. So that's good. We'll go with that. All right, now I always go with 2 hard drives, one SSD for very, very fast performance, and then a secondary one that's optional if you ever decide to want to record directly to this computer through OBS, vMix, or whatever software, streaming software that you decide to use with this. So I'm going to do a 512 gigabyte NVMe because there's no reason to go any smaller than that, even though you're not going to use up a lot of that space if you're just using the software. But I like to prepare. because for whatever reason, Windows it goes with a lot of steals a lot of space for whatever reason. Now, the good thing is this whole system, and I should do this one day. This whole system can actually, I got enough parts to do it. Anyway, this whole system, you could do everything that we're doing. If you want to save some more money as well too, you can put this on Linux. It might be just a tad bit of a learning curve, but it will work just as well. And I might do that one day. I actually got like 7 systems that I'm building, so I could just do one all with Linux one day just to see what the performance is like. And as you can see, the selection of drives is getting a little difficult. So let's go ahead and weed it down, and we're going to do a 512 as well. And I try and stick to brands that I've used before. This team group I have not used, so I'm kind of hesitant about doing that. I normally stick with Silicon Power or WD, Western Digital, but I mean, it's at your discretion. And if you don't want to do it NVMe, you could go with just a SSD, a 2.5 inch, and that would work too. But maybe I need to give these good folks here a try. So we'll go with this. But again, even Western Digital, the Silicon Power, they're all in that price range, $54, $52 in that range. All right. Now, again, the secondary drive is a 2 terabyte. I always use Seagate, but any of them, they're all around the same price. This is optional. You don't need to have this, but I use this just as a backup if somebody wants to record to the system. So it's funny, this 2 terabyte is about the exact same price as a 1/4 the size NVMe drive. All right. Now I still use the Gigabyte B450 DS3H. It's actually on version 2 now. You could get the B550 if you wanted to. But let me just show you a price comparison of that. Right now, again, it's starting to raise in price. This is about $7 more than what it originally goes for. But if we now look for the B550 DS3H, so that's $87, and then you're looking at $94. So it all depends on which one you want. If you want to go with the B550, you could, but one thing I will call out, and this is the reason why I'm not using it, is this B550, I learned this the hard way, it does not support any of the older generation Ryzen processors. So if you stuck with the 3200G, the 3400G, something like that, that works fine. But anything that's like a 2000 series, a 1000 series, it won't work. I learned that the hard way. So that's why I'm not going to use that. So let's go over here to our shopping cart and see what we got. So we got, no, I don't want mask. We have our case, we got our motherboard, we got our power, we got our hard drives. Now we need some memory, and reasonably priced. You can now go up to around like 3200 megahertz, and you can get some decent prices for that. Always do it in 2 sticks so you can leverage the dual channel memory. Again, there are some lower prices options, but I have not used them. But we do have the Silicon Power. Hasn't had that many ratings, so I'm kind of gonna stay away from that, but that is your choice. I normally stick with this G-Skill, but I've started using this Olia or whatever brand. I actually have it in my system over here, and I've built 2 systems with it, so they're fine. So we're gonna go with this. I don't know what the bad rating is for, but hey, that works. Normally I would go with 3000 megahertz, but I mean, at this price, this is going for the exact same price for at 3200 megahertz compared to 3000. All right, so let's jump over here. So far, we're only at around $375. And what are we missing so far? We're missing a capture device. and we're also missing our processor. Now, this is the issue that I have. So let's go ahead and just take a look at it right now. The 3200G, which is what I normally would build with this system, is going for $236, which is ridiculous because this processor is, and I don't know why my keyboard is ridiculous because this processor is really only $99. That's the manufacturer's price. I am not going to pay that much for that. That's only 4 cores and 4 threads. More than enough to handle your live stream, but at that price, no. Even if we went up to the 3400G, which is 4 cores and 8 threads, that is $274. So, I mean, at a $10, if I was going to buy this, I would go with this one just because you get more performance at that price. But this is how ridiculous that is. So the reason I like the APUs is because it means you only got to get one piece. So you can have your CPU and your GPU is in one piece and you save yourself a lot of money. But unfortunately, people are scalping it. I don't know if they're phasing these out and something new is coming. They do have a 4000 line, but it's only OEM. Only companies that build systems have access to those processors. They don't have these out, so like me and you can buy them. So what I have been replacing these with is the Ryzen 5 1600 Series 1, but it's really a Series 2. I've been using these because, again, the Ryzen 3 3200G is 4 cores and 4 threads. The Ryzen 5 3400G is 4 cores and 8 threads. And they're going for $237 and $274. That's how much it's costing right now. But this Ryzen 5 1600 AF is a remodeled 2nd gen Ryzen processor, but with a 1st gen label. You got to make sure you look for the ones that actually say AF in its description. So you see it right here, the AF right there. That's how you know what this is. Now, this one is different. This one, let's look at the specs. This one is a 6-core processor and 12 threads. So it is 3 times more powerful than the 3200G and, not double, but, maybe 50% more than what the 3400G is. Now, the issue with this is this processor does not have a graphics card. So you need one, but you have so many cores in this system, it'll be able to do the encoding of your live stream itself on the processor. So you're going from maybe a 3 to 10% CPU utilization in OBS if you're using that, or in vMix, up to maybe 20, but you still have more than enough headroom. So let's go ahead and add that. And at this point, we need a graphics card, not for encoding purposes. You just need something just to get you an image to a monitor. So you can go as low as a GT 710 and get these for like $52 because, again, you're not putting any work on this processor. On this graphics card. So this is the one that I would use. Again, I would not use this if you need to do multiple display outs. This is, I only have one monitor and it's only going to that. That will work fine. If you need something to do dual monitors, maybe look at let's add this first so we know where we're going. You could look at adding maybe like right here, maybe a GT 1030. Maybe something like that if you need to do dual screen output. But again, I don't think it's really that needed. If you need some more power, to be quite honest, I would go with maybe something like an RX 550 that can give you some other display outs if need be as well. Because again, normally I would recommend the GTX 1650. But again, that would be overkill. And as you can see, the prices are out of control. I actually bought mine for $150, and these things are going for $405. That's why we're looking for some alternatives to build the system out, but you'll still be able to get what you need. So if we look at this right now, with the case, motherboard, power, NVMe drive, 16 gigs of memory, secondary hard drive, which is optional, a graphics card, and the processor, we're at $600, and that does not include a switcher. So honestly, at this point, you could do a DeckLink mini recorder, 4K, and you're looking at adding another $200, so you're around $800. Or you go ahead and throw in another $295 and then just add an ATEM mini on top of that. So if we did that, so let's do, I don't know, BH photo and then ATEM mini, the base, and we would add another $295 on top of that. So looking at that, you add $295 on top of that. Let's just say that you're just add $300, make it easier. You're looking at right at $900 for the system to be able to get you what you need. And to be quite honest, if you went with just a capture card, you're only going to be able to capture one thing anyway. The ATEM Mini will allow you to send everything over USB. So that is what I would use to put my system together now. I mean, obviously, if you really wanted to do the entire system, let's go ahead and add a keyboard and mouse to this. I like the MK120s, and I don't know why Newegg is adding the shipping price on there, but we'll do that. And then we just need a 1080p HDMI monitor, and I like to get speakers with mine as well too, because it just saves this one less thing that you have to worry about on that. And really, you don't even need to pay more than $100 for a good monitor. So I know I've used a couple of these, but I want the ones with built-in speakers. So this one, yeah, this ViewSonic would be perfect for that. All right, so let's look at the final price of everything. So if we add the ATEM on top of this and maybe add some shipping charges and taxes, depending on where you're coming from, you're looking at a fully multi-camera live stream, minus the cameras, minus the connections if the cameras are far away, but you have everything that you need to give you superb performance for around like 1100, 1200. And again, you can always do some shopping around. You could drop this hard drive, and even if you went with because this is $55, if you went with half the size of that, see, you're dropping down $20 for double the space. I don't think it's worth it. You're really not going to save that much money on it. Want to stick with the memory, but you could drop this keyboard and mouse. You probably got one of those sitting around somewhere. Monitor, but yeah, this is what I would put in place for my streaming systems now, just because it's very difficult to actually get the system like I normally would. But the good thing is it's giving you way more power, because that processor is more than fast enough that you can actually do video editing on that as well too. All the video editing would lean heavy on the CPU and not on the GPU. So if you really wanted to do something, you would want to put a better GPU in there. But at the prices that you're talking about, the GPU at this rate is almost half the price of the entire system. That's just how crazy prices are right now. But that is what I would put in a system. So there'll be a link down below that you can go to my kit.co link or to my blog, and you can get access to all of these. And I have it already in the description, but if you didn't know, every link we have on here is an affiliate code to Amazon. We get a little kickback to help buy all the other kit and stuff that you want us to review here on the channel, but you don't have to pay nothing. It's just, hey, it's a win-win situation. So that's what happens when you click on one of these links, that you're helping us out. And yeah, all the info is there. So let me know down below. If you have any other questions, like I said, if you want me to try and build something like that with you, send me an email at questions@ajhomes.com. But like I'm telling you now, I cannot guarantee that this will work because of the pricing and availability of parts. But we would do the best that we possibly can to get your media ministry modernized and got you some good power to handle what you need to do. So if you like this type of content, I appreciate a like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. And I want to thank the patrons for making this video possible. Their names on the screen right now, and you too can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, or you can become a YouTube member by clicking the join button below. And I want to thank the YouTube members as well too, because no matter which way you pick, folks, you are helping us train media ministries all over the world. Thanks for watching, folks. This is AJ, and we will see you on the next video. Later.